Galactic Civilizations 4 has changed the game, with its first, completely unique technology tree and a brand new civilization, the Synthetic Civ of the Nyx. So, let's take a look at what they have to offer in this new version of Galactic Civilizations 4, with my thanks to Stardock for sponsoring this video and providing me with an early look at the Tales of Arnor DLC. You can check it out yourself using my link down below. Now let's get on with the video. The beginning of a game of Galactic Civilizations 4 with the Tales of Arnor DLC enabled works a little bit differently for me. Usually I use the custom creator to create my own custom civilization, fill it out with the AI. It's wonderful. I love to use it. This time around though, it's about the Ironborn, the ruthlessly efficient, the OG synthetic civilization of the Nyx. The Nyx are of course the star of the show here. They are what the Tales of Arnor DLC really is all about, or at least its core feature for me. And unlike a lot of the other smaller DLCs or flavor DLCs, this time around they've done something quite special. You see, I chose to play as the Nyx here because everything that you're looking at, including the leaders that I'll assign, the ministerial positions, as well as some of the events. And crucially though, building on all of that sort of cultural stuff, that governance stuff, the events, is the tech tree that underlies this civilization. All of it unique to them. And I think this is the first time in Galactic Civilizations 4 that a new civ has been added and it's had just this level of detail and this level of unique gameplay. And even here, just right at the start, right? It's my prime world. I'm looking at the different improvements. There are sometimes very powerful adjacency bonuses, and also trying to figure out just how to use those unique technologies. What on earth is going on with the Nyx? And the conclusion that I begin to reach as I move through here and deal with some of these events is that this species, this very rare synthetic species, are very good at powerful ships, very good at influence, and very good at leveraging what makes their civilization unique. And you can see that play through here in the ships as well. Obviously, even right down to the very basic things like the asteroid miners, through to their unique ships that we'll take a little bit of a closer look at as we move through the video. The survey ship in particular can be produced infinitum, so long as of course you have the population to staff it. And as a machine population, really, the element of manufacturing as well as technological advancement is crucially what will drive us here, right? These robo-dudes don't actually need food. Oh, no. Instead, we're opting for a different kind of growth. And in my experience, it's a kind of growth that, if you're a player like me, again, will enable you to really shine in the early game. Rapid expansion through either technology and influence or through your manufacturing power and your devastatingly strong forces early on. Now, of course, all of this comes with a trade-off. I've mentioned some already, right? We don't use food, we need to build our populations. We have our unique surveying ship that we can produce infinitely. But what are the downsides? Well, I feel that part of the trade-off here is actually a lack of some content earlier on as well. A lack of some basic districts needing to be unlocked through the tech tree before we can build them. Speaking of the technology tree, again, purely unique to us, another potential downside to manage here is you'll notice it's fairly linear, not a lot of branching paths, and that means of course that key technologies may be buried deep within a path that you're not going down. Another, of course, always fun path to go down is the militaristic side here, and as I've already mentioned, we're very strong in the early game. We get access to some unique and powerful beam, missile, and kinetic weapons, and also a very powerful unique ship that can send a whole load of drones at our enemies just a little bit earlier, actually quite a lot earlier, than they may be able to unlock the same technologies themselves. This leads to a potential path of early domination, right? Building on your strengths as the Nyx, that manufacturing, that science, those powerful, ruthlessly efficient, and extra armored ships were particularly useful here, for example, in eliminating a race of rogue, militant squirrels, with eye patches too. And that leads me on to perhaps one more point before we delve just a little bit more into the detail of what's going on here. There's a lot more taking place, right? that was just, of course, one event, one of the many different events. I believe in this DLC, anomaly events in particular have been added too, as well as artifacts, a new crisis scenario, and some other stuff around the edges. And it's just, yet again, another layer, of course, added into Galactic Civilizations 4's Supernova, the Mega Edition. Now, the Tales of Arnor DLC is a flavorful DLC, and it adds to some of the stuff that we've talked about already on the channel, the Gigamass Harvester you will have seen earlier. You will, of course, see me also use that Gigamass to develop some massive stellar infrastructure. On top of this, building on top of the paid DLC for the game, of course, a whole load of free updates, and one of the reasons why I will continue to return to Galactic Civilizations 4 is for that real level of effort, updates, new stuff that it has just been continuously demonstrated for years now for the game. The 2.95 patch update delivers quite a few things. Gameplay balance is one of the big ones. Planetary improvements, colony features, ship components, you name it. It's not just the Nyx who get their unique stuff, but more broadly, the game has been balanced. Map generation has changed now as well. Star distances, planet frequency, resources, all of that has been enhanced, as well as the general quality of life improvements that we see throughout every update, as well as some crucial changes to gameplay. Most notably, star bases, one of my favorite functions. I love to expand out, boost my little influence circle around enemy planets like I've done here, hoover them up and either take them militarily or win them over. Win over the people with my influence. Well, those star bases are now stronger and harder to kill in this version of the game. And if you are choosing to go and fight them, you might also like to know that the base ship hull sizes are now unlocked through the technology tree itself. There are a myriad of other changes, and of course the full patch notes will be out as the patch is live, which it will be by the time you're watching this video, so I'll be sure to link that down below if you'd like to check that out. Before we get to the conclusion of this video though, let's delve a little further into the Tales of Arnor DLC, and specifically the Nyx here. With all of the unique stuff that we've already talked about, of course crucially their technologies, their ships, their policies and more, as you move through the gameplay changes a bit. You start to focus in on how you might achieve a victory. Will it be a generic broad-based one from just doing well, or do you want to focus in on what you really do well? I believe that early militarism is the way to go, and outside of that, you can either continue down that path, right, focus in hard, or alternatively focus on more of a progressive, scientific, and crucially influential build. The combination of militarism and spreading your culture and that cultural influence across the galaxy is what really makes this new synthetic civilization shine in Gal Civ 4, at least for me. Another key takeaway and learning as I played a little bit more was something that I often overlook, but you really shouldn't. You gotta lean into what makes you unique. The synthetic surveyor. Repeatable, right? I can have as many of these as I want. Spam them out far and wide. The drone carrier that I'm building here. An exceptionally strong early ship. Both of those should be used to their greatest extent. The surveyor will, once you get them online and start to roll them out, eventually enable you to completely outpace the opponent. For you will have not only great production, but theoretically an infinite number of these upgradable ships. It's about, I believe, leaning into what makes the Nyx shine. And of course, underneath all of this, there's a really strong lore element with this DLC as well. The Yor, the Nyx, these synthetic races with a history, somewhat, shall we say, a checkered past, to put it lightly. Reflecting back then on what makes the Nyx shine, that extra armor rating, plus 25% Ironborn on all of your ships, as well as their efficiency, and the default traits of being clever, brutal militants, have hopefully shaped a really clear picture for you here on what makes the Tales of Arnor DLC very special. Now, of course, I have to be careful not to get too carried away. It just so happens to be a civilization that really suits my playstyle. I want to be strong early, I want to be good at manufacturing, I want to be good at science, I want to have something unique. And of course, in that sense, it's also very much a first for Gal Civ 4. A truly unique, synthetic, if you will, tech tree here, boosting this entire civilization and the deep lore around it. Once you reach your military victory, of course, the game is not quite yet over. You could choose instead to play the scenario that's also included with the DLC. You don't want to play a sandbox mode of Gal Civ 4, your own campaign, then you can play the story here too, and take a further step into the lore. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And again, as a gentle reminder, if you'd like to check out Galactic Civilizations 4 and the brand new DLC, you can do so using my link down below. I'll see you next time.